We're going to begin our Algebra 1 review over some basic topics that you honestly should have learned in pre-algebra, but you should have definitely learned in Algebra 1. First, we are going to review our order of operations. You have learned your order of operations as either, please excuse my dear Aunt Sally, or maybe PEMDAS. But what do either one of these things mean? It means first we're going to simplify our parentheses. Parentheses mean any grouping symbol, not necessarily just parentheses. Grouping symbols can be absolute value signs, radicals, fraction bars, all sorts of things, and that we're going to continue to encounter throughout our time in Algebra 2 Trig. Excuse, or E, stands for exponents. Those little numbers at the top, we know what exponents are. Multiplication, then division. You know those math problems on Facebook that everyone seems to be arguing about and no one can come to a conclusion until they tag a math teacher? It's because of this step right here. Multiplication does not come before division. Multiplication and division are done in the same step from left to right. Addition and subtraction are done in the same step from left to right. That is the most important thing that you remember from this slide. Multiplication and division are done in the same step, whichever shows up first. Addition and subtraction, same step, whatever shows up first. So let's look at an example. We have the absolute value of 5 minus 2 times 9 plus 9 squared divided by 3. I see that 9 is in parentheses. Can I simplify that set of parentheses? No, but what else do we see? Absolute value symbols, right? So we have two absolute value bars. They are grouping symbols. They are under the umbrella of parentheses. We need to do those first. 5 minus 2 times 9. That's 5 minus 18. 5 minus 18 is negative 13. But once again, what does absolute value mean? Absolute value is the magnitude of the number, meaning the distance from 0. So whether we're on the positive side or the negative side, how many steps is it going to take us to get back to 0? In this case, it's going to take us 13 steps. So absolute value is always positive, and that is why, because you can't take a negative amount of steps. So we've completed our parentheses. Now we need to move to exponents. Do we see any exponents? Yes, we see 9 squared. 9 squared is 81. So now we have 13 plus 81 divided by 3. 81 divided by 3 is 27. And lastly, 13 plus 27 is 40. Now we need to simplify expressions. Yes, an expression versus an equation. What's the difference? Expressions don't have equal signs. So these are our more simplified versions. We like expressions. They are simple. They are fun. So we're going to follow our order of operations. Meaning we're going to begin with our parentheses. Any grouping symbols we have, we're going to simplify. And then we're going to evaluate any exponents that we see. Then we are going to distribute. Because distribute is just a fancy form of multiplication. Nothing scary, right? We know how to multiply. So we're going to distribute. And then lastly, we're going to combine like terms. And our expression will be simplified. So let's look at an example. Negative 8 times 2x plus y minus 3 times negative 5x minus 2y. I have two sets of parentheses, 2x plus y and then negative 5x minus 2y. Can I simplify either of those? No, I can't. So what do I need to do first? Distribute. Let's distribute the negative 8. Negative 8 times 2x is negative 16x. Negative 8 times y is negative 8y. Negative 3 times negative 5x is plus 15x. Negative 3 minus 2y is plus 6y. So, we've distributed what's going to be our next step. We're going to combine like terms. So we have a negative 16x and a positive 15x. Now, we are not going and moving on to opposite operations because we're not crossing an equal sign. So we're going to do exactly what it says. Negative 16 plus 15, negative x. And then we bring down our negative 8y plus 6y. Negative 8y plus 6y, exactly what it says, is going to simplify to negative 2y. Bring down our negative x, and our expression has been simplified. Solving equations. We're going to do the same thing as expressions, but we're going to step it up a little bit because what's present now? An equal sign, right? Okay, we love equations. They are amazing. If we don't love equations, oof, we have a long semester ahead of us. But we love equations. So solving equations. We're going to follow our order of operations. We're going to simplify parentheses. We're going to distribute. We're going to simplify each side of the equation. Before we start moving stuff around, we're going to simplify each side of the equation. We're going to simplify our left-hand side and our right-hand side. Then we're going to isolate our variable using inverse operations. What does inverse operations mean? It means opposite operations, right? It sure does. Okay, let's look at this. 10x plus 17 minus x minus 9 divided by 2 equals 3x plus 1. We see parentheses, x minus 9. Can we simplify those? We can't, no. But we do see that we have a fraction bar, and anything on top of our fraction bar is grouped together, and anything that's below our fraction bar is grouped together. So that fraction bar is like a grouping symbol. So we need to completely simplify the 10x plus 17 minus x minus 9. We'll treat that as a level, and then we're going to treat the bottom as a level. So the bottom's more simple, right? Divide by 2. So let's simplify that. This dividing by 2, what is the inverse of division? What's the opposite of division? Multiplication. I'm going to multiply both sides by 2. That is going to make the 2 on the left-hand side of the equation simplify to 1. Not cancel, simplify to 1. That's important. It's a terminology, it's an understanding of what's happening. And then I'm going to distribute the 2 on the opposite side. So 2 times 3x is 6x, and 2 times 1 is 2. Now, we have 10x plus 17 minus the quantity of x minus 9. We can do this. Now, we need to distribute this negative. But what is that negative? It's a negative 1, right? So negative times x is negative x, and negative times negative 9 is positive 9. We need to bring down the rest of our equation. And we want to simplify our left-hand side. 10x and negative x, 9x. We're going to bring down everything else. Plus 17 plus 9. What does that simplify to? 26. We need to bring down the 9x and bring down the right-hand side. Now this is where we are going to start isolating our variable, combining our like terms, getting them all on the same side. So it doesn't matter if you have your x on the left or the right. What matters is that you have them together and that you do it correctly. 6x is a positive. So how are we going to move positive 6x? We're going to subtract it. But what we do to one side, we must also do to the other. So 9x minus 6x is 3x. Bring down our plus 26 equals 2. Now, with my 3x is still a positive 26. So what is the opposite of adding 26? Subtracting 26. What we do to one side, we must do to the other. This is an equation. It's equal. It's a scale. It's balanced. We have to keep it balanced. So 3x equals negative 24. And we have to bring down our 3x. But x still isn't by itself. It still has a 3, right? How are we going to move that 3? We're going to divide both sides by 3. I don't know why that x is under there. Guys, I'm so sorry. But we're going to divide both sides by 3, and we're going to get x equals negative 8. That x should not be down there. It should just be a 3. But I'm a human, and I make mistakes. So there we go. Okay, that's going to be all for this video, but we still have much more Algebra 1 review to do.